All right, we got a quadratic equation. First of all, we should try to solve these with the double parachute pants here with the two binomial multiplication. So the first term in each, when you multiply them, gives us x squared. Now we need a number when you multiply it gives you negative 6, but when you add it gets negative 1. That looks right to me. It looks like the 3 is going to have to be the negative one because our middle term's a negative number. Let's double check real quick the middle term, because we know what the first term is and we know what the last term is. We already put those together. So 2 times x is 2x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. We add them together. We get a negative x. We are good to go. Then to go ahead and solve for x, we just pretend each one of these is equal to 0 because of the zero product rule. 0 times anything is 0. So for this one, x was negative 2. That would be an answer. For this one, x would be positive 3. That would be an answer. So there are our answers. But not all of these are going to function or factor so nicely. I'm going to introduce you to the quadratic formula. If your quadratic formula is in this format, notice the plus signs equals 0, then we can go ahead and build the quadratic formula. That's a division bar. X is going to equal negative b plus or minus this b squared minus 4ac all under the radical sign. This is also called the discriminant, just the b squared minus 4ac part of this quadratic equation. And that whole thing is divided by 2a. So let's go ahead and pull up our function. You'll notice it's not in this format, not yet. But we know how to use a little bit of algebra and change these subtraction signs into plus signs. All right, minus a positive 6 is the same as plus a negative 6. Minus a x, positive x, is the same as plus a negative x. And we need to put a 1 in here, as 1 is a factor of all things. We need a 1 on our a term, our leading coefficient, right? So now we know what a, b, and c are. Let's go ahead and substitute. First, we'll substitute our b's. Every time we see a b, we're going to put in a negative 1. Every time we see an a, we're going to put in a positive 1, right? That's a, that's b, negative 1, and that's c. Every time we see a c, we're going to put in a negative 6. And let's do some math. The opposite of a negative 1 is a positive 1. Negative 1 squared is positive 1. 4 times 1 times negative 6 is negative 24. We're going to subtract that, which is the same as adding. That gives us the square root of 25, which we know now is 5. So now we have 1 plus or minus 5 over 2 times 1 is 2, 2. That's actually two numbers, okay? That is x equals 1 plus 5 over 2, and x is 1 minus 5 over 2. So 6 over 2 is 3, which we got the first time. And this second one, 1 minus 5 is negative 4, divided by 2 is x is negative 2. So we did get the exact same answers. And that is it. MGZ out.